I did not find out I was supposed to do a poem until about 10 minutes ago. So with that in mind, I figured I would kick things off with a positive jam, because what better than doing poetry and Buda on a rainy Thursday night in an awesome coffee house. We woke up in the 50s, tired and torn from 2 world wars, and in the filthy corners of smoky bars and the hungry hearts of disenfranchised souls, we found our home, we found our voice. And while those who forget their poems cried about communists in our midst, those who did not clench their fist and beat a different drum howled into the night as they prowled the empty streets of that slowly growing cancer some called suburbia. We stumbled through the 60s, found inspiration in drugs and despair in yet another war. Picked up our guitars and wrapped our words around acid melodies, our thoughts torn and tripping. And despite getting handcuffed in Chicago, shot down at Kent State, our blood splattered across the walls of a Hollywood bungalow, we still found the energy to fuck our way through the 70s. Cocaine nights and bloodshot mornings, waking up in the wasted arms of a bad economy and a devastating disco strangler. We hibernated in the 80s, and while some made a name, made a life, made some money with that Ojo del Tigre, we hibernated and waited for this winter of waste to give way to a more conscientious spring. We reinvented ourselves in the 90s, slammed violent verse in Chicago, took our anger to the airwaves and advertised our ideas into 1,000 microphones on 1,000 stages. We wrote poems that embraced the I. We wrote poems that condemned the them. We wrote poems that tested to see whether or not the audience was even listening. I say leap year, you say slam. Leap year. Slam. Leap year. Slam. We wrote poems for the Big Brother nation. They put cameras on our street corners so that they could watch us. They put cameras in our cell phones so that we could watch each other for them. They put cameras in our microphones to see if there were terrorists, hiding in our tonsils. So tonight, I'd like to take this chance and bless this mic with a positive jam, a say yes to change jam. We won't get fooled again jam. This is my blue-eyed soul jam with Bootsy Collins on bass and the sycopated beats of a rhythm nation propelling our politics forward, onward. Slam is the sport of spoken word. The bird is the word. Squidward is SpongeBob's next door neighbor, and even he listens to public radio and wants to know who's going to sign my next paycheck. I know because I heard him say so myself. So tonight, I'd like to bless this mic with a positive jam, because 8 of the most amazing poets you've ever seen in South Texas are going to be up here tonight, and we need to kick things off with some energy. So give it up for the poets, people.
Let's have some fun. New shit.
New shit? Shit, that's new.
The movie Taken is about an ex-CIA agent whose daughter is kidnapped. In the movie, the main character famously tells her captors, if you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Now, as a person of color, I can empathize with Agent Mills' plight. The fear for his child's safety, that she's snatched from her room for no apparent reason, visualizing her in the dark, distressed, uncertain of life or death. We've been there. But it must have been devastating for him to imagine this child could ever deserve this existence. It's the kind of thing that can make a man act outside of his nature, right? You know, do whatever it takes for her to survive, because the title taken should have been Smells Like White Privilege, or It's 10 o'clock, do you know where the hell your kids at? See, for most, this is simply cinema. For people like me, we've seen these scenes before. Been strung up by our necks for entertainment, been the beauty in the eye of the beholder as we were disemboweled and set ablaze. Now what if we had the opportunity to access that rage? What if we had the right to retribution without walking on eggshells in this country that's never given us time to mourn, let alone space to process the pain it created? Nah, we just punching bags, just voiceless victims painted to be perpetrators. See, people like Agent Mills been making it nightmares for people like me. They're telling you we deserved it all along. The title of this poem is COINTELPRO is public record, or until the lions start telling the stories, the hunters gonna always be the heroes. See, it's given manifest destiny, like fire, blame, and smoke for the aftermath, but name a founding father in this country that doesn't qualify as a domestic terrorist. Because to them, there's no difference between your blood and what they already had on their hands. Because colonizers don't give a damn about who built the foundation when they burn everything to the ground. Because I'm tired of y'all cheering for this shit in a movie and not recognizing it when it's happening to people like me in real life. The title of Taken should have been, what about everything you've taken from us? Or, that's why I ain't watched that punk ass movie anyway.
This poem is titled, I Didn't Get the Job, but I got a damn good poem out of it, so. Quote, you'll always be a target when you're speaking the truth. Nitty Scott. 1. This week, a boy died protecting his classmates from a gunman, and this week, a room full of mostly white men decided that a miscarriage may be worth a death sentence. As if one loss isn't enough this week, a generation was condemned, and these men rejoice while cheersing drinks and praying over their food while bullets preyed on preteens. 2. I learned good form was women and children first. I didn't think it meant to the slaughter. 3. They want me to be able to move to Birmingham. And I want my son to have a mother. Not a martyr, but they keep killing children. Keep damning people who look, live, and love like I do. Keep Emmett tilling the land and burying their hate within us and watering it with blood and pointing to the sky at a God they hold accountable for the evils done by their hand and call it a blessing. Call the bleaching of bloodlines a baptism for. You can find the oldest branch of my family tree in Birmingham. There is no physical record of my family before this place, just stories and songs and a desire to survive, so I write. And I sing, and I keep pushing forward, and I remember that we have never been free of what happened here. So 5, I don't just want reparations, I want justice. I want what we paid for with our bodies and our village names and our native tongues. I want my fucking country back. My family did not build all of this for these hateful white men. A piece of this land is my birthright for. Story time. So some stray Becky about a week ago that I ran into after a brief conversation about bone structures, bloodlines, and last names asked me, no, but like, where are you from? And I bite my tongue like a wood block at the shock of her audacity and clap back to her bass-awkward sentiment with a side-eye fit for Egyptian goddesses. I want to ask her, where is hip-hop from? What about soul music and blues? Have you ever heard of jazz? Has anybody ever asked where they are from? And when they answer, do you question it? But I recognize her ignorant attempt at validation, thinking that if she knows the story, then it's worth something, wants me to be worth something. But 3, when I say this is where I'm from, I mean I am tied to this place by blood, both that in my veins and that which not so long ago wet the soil this city sits on. How can I say no to home too? When I first learned the phrase, all men created equal, I asked what about the women, and my teacher laughed. 1. The headline of another murdered activist flashes across my screen as a song Scream sings on the radio in the background, and I am left weeping over all the possibilities now laid out in front of me. And I'm gonna pay for this, and they're gonna burn me at the stake. But I've got a fire in my veins, and I wasn't made to fall in line. So here's to breaking chains.
Let's go, poet.
Dear God, I don't blame you. Sometimes all we understand is a lightning-shattered sky. Sometimes it's the floggings by hellfire that remind us that even forgiveness has its limits. Dear God, how are you? You've been a bit silent lately. I've noticed you've been omnipotently meandering our skies. You've been working on the same project for 13.77 billion years by our count. Have you found your purpose yet? I guess even heaven has ruts. Tell me how pointless you have to feel to measure your eternity by the revolutions of our cosmic top. Are you still too scared to conduct this untuned orchestra? Say God! Do you even feel up to counting today? Maybe there's no challenge in all of this anymore, but I still know people who believe in you. And their faith is as undeniable as your absence. And honestly, I never understand it. I tell them I have to picture you with mangled hands, fingers rusted and withered from thousands of years of holding up faith. We are slipping through the cracks, God. If we were not your problem, why would you make us think otherwise? I know those shoulders must be busy, but those palms can still offer guidance. Yet all I ever hear from you is, I guess we really were made in your image. We are a collection of bruised egos and failures. Dear Tomas, you could always volunteer at a cancer ward if you feel so strongly that I have failed. You've been working on the same project for 10,569 days. Have you yet to find your purpose, son? I know you're crappy at getting hints, but how much clearer do you need this? I am not the Almighty. I am not the answers or questions. I am not hiding in the biblical scriptures or in the next bottle or girlfriend, so stop looking there. I am you. These are the same hands of fate that always have and always will push you, so please, try and take some responsibility. You have so much growing to do. Maybe someday you'll get it. Maybe someday.
It appears that the world of human anatomy is rising. The ceiling where all negative abusive words needs revising. The numbered span of the year 1900 to now is when the spectrum known as autism has affected us all. According to Swiss psychologist Eugene Brewer, after he discovered schizophrenia, the lack of social interaction and verbal-nonverbal communication is the downside of the spectrum, breaking the human spirit altogether. The battle has become very real, people. We struggle to labor for acceptance in education and abhor the negative backlash. Our autistic generation continues to rise while this planet eradicates the cruel and heartless assholes. Every man, woman, and child with a disability world has a gift and unimaginable intelligence. Even parents of these autistic souls know they'll succeed. I, as an autistic individual, especially a black man with a high-functioning disorder, Asperger's syndrome, stood against adversity and eternal resistance. You want to know what I do? I do more than one thing at a time. I design as many banners, which is for a birthday when I turn into a certain age of existence. I am currently 33, going to 34 right now. I memorize dialogue from film, cartoon, comedy stand-ups, and sports commentary like this example here. You wanna know why you didn't see that sign that says dead nigger storage? Because they never could store dead niggas in my fucking business, that's why. That's Pulp Fiction, people. To all you boys out there, listen up and listen to me good. Fuck you. Fuck the plane you flew it on. Fuck your desperate plan to be popular than other people. Fuck your family who do not raise you with respect. Fuck your decision to bully the disabled. Fuck your disrespect to the troops of our nation's flag. Fuck your hatred for law enforcement. Fuck homophobia. Fuck transphobia. Fuck misogyny. Fuck the Republican Party. Fuck you all to hell. This is America. and the families of all individuals that are special needs deserve to live here and do what others do. Now get the fuck out of this planet, or you'll get your ass whooped all the way to oblivion.
My appearance, it speaks a language all its own. This is a dialect that's familiar, yet foreign. There really isn't a proper translation. I put this together. 3 parts individuality, 1 part survival instinct. I used to treat heterosexuality like a straitjacket, contorting my appearance into something a little easier for other people to digest. In Catholic school, they teach you about every single saint. Patron saint of animals, of drunks, of children, of lost things. But never a patron saint for fags. So in its absence, I created one myself. Celestial, diva, divine, a fag dressed in drag with a walk that can stomp out the devil. He, she, they, bless us with pronouns that transcend the binary shackles placed on us by the same minds that gave us race and gender oppressors. She would speak with a quick wit, slaying all my inner demons to filth, snatched for the gods, death-dropping homophobic false prophets trying to pray away my gay. She would turn my closet into kindling, and my straight jacket into something that was dust with. Hail queer mother, turn our tears into diamonds. Show the world that we are harder than any stone wall for our freedoms. Are the products of bricks and barbed wire fences. Rest in power, Gabriel Fernandez. Rest in power, Alexa Negaron. Rest in power, every other queer soul whose names were forgotten or ignored or erased, whose melanin made living in their truth that much harder. Blessed are those whose houses were built on machismo, whose fathers fought too hard to fit you in cajas made for boys and girls who hid in coffins rather than closets. Blessed are those whose bodies don't match their soul, who must wage war against Christians that can wrap their minds around transubstantiation, but not what it means to be transgendered. Ashes to ashes and glitter to dust. In you we pray, slay, and trust. Hail, Queen Mother. I pray for style and grace, for fashion and taste, but most of all for you to keep us safe from all the trials and tribulations that we will face as a result of being born one of your queer children.
So the other night, while hanging out with some friends, we ran into a chart of the places worldwide with the biggest penis. And in between giggles and comments, we found out the following. Biggest dick country is Congo with 7.1 inches. North Korea has the smallest with 3.8 inches, which explains why they're always at war and upset, right? I mean, I'd be upset too. Global average is 5.5 inches. US is 5.1 inches, Puerto Rico has 6.1 inches, and there was once a Mexican man with 18.9 inches. So only 3% of men worldwide are over 8 inches, and only 6% of men actually need extra large condoms. So stop buying those Trojan Magnums, you fucking liars. And I sat there thinking what I had to contribute to such conversation, since I don't have a biological penis, and technically I've only had 3 in my life. And I realized that with my recent cancer diagnosis, there is something that I have that is bigger than 7.1 inches. This big dick energy, this fucking big dick energy. Because I don't need a physical big dick to know that I will beat this sickness. I only need this big dick energy to fight this monster. Because this big dick energy stands here for the last 12 months, week after week, poetry slam after poetry slam, and still understand that there is no way this growing sick poem will outright or perform over me. Because I am that poet. Because daddy didn't raise no bitch. Because my body may be at war and chaos, but my mind is at calm. Because this big dick energy only reminds me every day that cancer can go fuck itself. So fuck cancer, that life is short, and I'm not going down without a mic. Because BDE also means beautiful, determined essence, so I am that much. And this cancer fucking better run, because I've survived it before and I will survive it again. And this big dick energy isn't scared, because I still have a lot to say and generational traumas to break. I celebrate life with no regrets. And if I leave, it's with legacy. That if I go, I gave myself permission to fucking exit, because I will always have the last word. Because 7.1 inches isn't enough for them to reach how far I'm destined to go. So this cancer better not get comfortable, and it needs to understand that it can try to fuck around, and I will let it find out that at the end, all these big dicks around the world got nothing on this big dick energy.
When I was really young, I used to love going to my grandmother's house because she would let me stay up late and eat Frosted Flakes. We had a whole system. She would pour my milk and listen to me talk about the trials and the tribulations of the second grade, and I love her for it. If time is just a concept, and there is only the eternal now, then there was a version of me and my grandmother that is still at that table. That version of me does not know how temporary a voice is. He hasn't heard words that fall with the force of an axe. He hasn't been chopped at the knees yet. When my grandmother passed away, my mother said it played out like a silent film. She said the entire hospital went black and white, and all of the nurses were only speaking in captions. She said, anything you have to say to your grandmother goes to the stars now. I say, hello, stars. I say, I'm sorry, Grandma. I don't eat cereal anymore. Look how meaningless the dinner table looks now. It is such a shame. We are all gathered here to watch you deliver your lines. But this is the part where you go from actress to ashes. It's the performance of a lifetime. This is how you earn it. This is how you move on as a family in this next scene. In this next scene, I get real desperate and I try to gather enough of your belongings to build a shrine. Here comes the best part. Here comes the best part. You should have seen the way your dress looked on camera. Everyone said it was real enough to touch. If time is just a concept, and there is only the eternal now, then there is a timeline where me and my grandmother are still at that table. There's a timeline where the bowl I am eating from is just as infinite as the space she moved on to. And neither one of us can get up from that table until we are done eating, until we are finished for good. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm trying not to be starstruck. You're still Grandma to me. No matter what galaxy you decide to shed light on, my heart has a spot for whatever form you come back to the big screen in. Lights, camera. Christmas was a little different this year. It didn't matter what was under the tree. The best gift was already buried underground. Eventually, every star needs a wardrobe change. It's time we drape the main character in white sheets in this scene. In this scene, you're already gone, Grandma. And all of us have faded to the background because we don't know how to live without you. In this scene, the lights have gone completely dark and we are off script and we are out of story. If time is just a concept, and there is only the eternal now, then there is a version of me and my grandmother that is meeting for the first time. And you were telling Mom how big my cheeks are. And I am learning what a matriarch looks like. And the two of us are gonna look up and realize the movie just started.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. Malcolm X. For women, the need and desire to nurture each other is not pathological but redemptive. Audre Lorde. Hi, my name's Diamond and I came out when I was 15. For as long as I have been alive, and far, far before the narrative has been painted that I am unlovable, that I am unworthy, that I am silenced because I am too loud, that I am put back in my place because I do not belong here, and they are just trying to keep me safe and still, I exist. Through all of the years of them trying to stamp me out, and it pisses them the fuck off how we keep getting back up every time we are put down, how Lucy and Betsy and Amber and Marsha and Sandra's names still rise above the white noise trying to drown us out, how Janelle and Zaya and Meg still sing and scream and show up loudly. They tried to bury us. They did not know that we would find our roots and grow. I found my people in the shades of soil from here to West Virginia. I found my people in the too close hand of my best friend and the goosebumps on the back of my neck when she said my name in a whisper. I found my people who love and who love me. And still, we must wipe the blood from each other's brows and brace for another round of what part of me is policy trying to exterminate today. Living in Texas as a queer, neurodivergent black woman feels like pulling myself out of a deeper hole every morning, knowing that one day it may become my grave, is feeling my arms weaken every time I try to know that I am not strong enough on my own, to know that I am not on my own, but it will take all of us, and I know that these things do not always go well for the loudmouths arguing against the status quo. So, if I lose the battles faced in this corporeal form sooner than expected, if my voice drops from the choir, I hope someone keeps singing. I hope the lyrics to Janelle Monáe's Float fill the silence. Promise you will belt it at the top of your lungs, because the show goes on, and it did, and it does. Every day is a page turned, and I have lived, and I have lived, and I have loved, and I have loved, and I hope that you keep doing the same, because we all deserve it.
All right.
Hella new shit.
New shit.
Whenever people ask me, hey, so what are you mixed with? I jokingly respond that I am half black and half black. Now I know that the color of my skin and the hazel of my eyes scream in the voice of the colonizers, while my hair rings with the ringlets of the oppressed. It's no wonder why you guessed I was both. It was your hope that I would respond with something like, I'm half black and half politically correct, half enslaved and half home of the brave. But oh, how wrong you are, and how in awe I am at your audacity. How dare you ask me the heritage of my melanin in Black History Month of all times. I guess for the sake of this month, I should have said I am half Blood Diamond and half Middle Passage. Half Malcolm X, half Ida B. Wells, half Maya Angelou, half Michelle Obama. I am half in the gutter, half creator of peanut butter. I am everything society has tried to hold back. I am half, I always season my food, and also half predisposed to a heart attack. I am half electric slide and half Cupid shuffle, though light-skinned privilege has you believing I am a biracial mother. Both sides of my history hold the struggle. I am Frederick Douglass's wildest dreams. The reason Harriet Tubman freed as many as she could. I am both the fire that burns as well as the wood. I am half motherland, half Justice Thurgood Marshall. I am made up of all those who came before me and all those who will come after. So please ignore the slave master you see in my skin. I do not claim them. Their influence is slowly being weeded out of my family tree, and while I will never be free of the green in my irises, I hope to be free of that question. But if not, next time, at least I'll have better answers.
The hardest thing to do is to say goodbye to a best friend. I get it. I know this is not a checkup. Let's just enjoy the car ride together. Let me put my head out the window. Let me say my proper goodbyes to the streets we used to walk on when we used to throw the ball. Just throw it out the window now. We're both chasing different things at this point, don't cry. We both know I never learned to stay. Tell me I'm a good boy. Pat the spot behind my ear. I want to feel the hands that fed me. The hands I use as a compass. Thank you for giving me directions. I hope I've been a good boy. I hope heaven smells like your shoes and I'm waiting and you're waiting for me on the other side. I hope I'm going to find you another virgin. I'm going to miss the weekends, the 2-mile hikes. I'm going to miss the way your smile cracks in the sun. Save me a sunrise. And I will have no choice but to play chase. I swear I can fetch the feelings I had when you first brought me home. Before I knew the difference between a command and a name, your heart called me family. We'll always be best friends. We'll always be connected the way birds are connected to the air. If you learn to fly, you should try to find me. The hardest thing to do is to say goodbye to your best friend. The hardest thing to do is to put your head out the window and say goodbye to the cool breeze. May I be an object in your rear view forever. May I appear closer than I actually am. May my lifeless body sprout roots and you grow a new companionship. May I become fresh flowers and we find another way to rub noses. I hope I was good. I hope you're not mad that I was on the couch. I'm sorry I chewed your shoes or I barked too loud that one night. I only wanted to make you proud. I only wanted to protect the family. Thank you for that spot at the bottom of your bed. You showed me a peace. You showed me peace for a long sleep. The hardest thing to do is to say goodbye to a best friend. I know this is not a checkup. Just tell me one more time. Tell me you love me. Tell me I'm your good boy.
My name is Charlie B. Barkin. I am a service dog in training because my human is autistic and her world is more than normally up in flames since I laid eyes on her. I am a Bernese Mountain Dog mix, meaning I am 8 months and now weigh 60 pounds and still growing. The moment you rescued me, I realized all I wanted to do was rescue you back. You took me home on your lap a few days after your 3rd chemo, and I felt in my warm, nervous, excited heart that I wasn't being rescued. I was meant to rescue you. From days where you wouldn't leave bed because fuck steroid pain meds for aftercare, to moments you'd say my name and I knew it meant you were going through the chills and needed me like a weighted blanket. I learned to read your mind. They say this world is made of selfless humans, but the first human I met left me in the middle of a fucking park, far from my pack, because he realized I would be too big one day. He didn't even let me lick him goodbye. They say even through your hardest days, humans become glimmers in the middle of this selfish, careless, fucked up world, but he wasn't that human. And you, fiery, neurodivergent, loud soul, made me realize I was meant to be here. Your fight might be over, but you still have days filled with the aftermath of radiation mixed up with body aches and hours of no sleep turn into making sure I am forever groomed and have as many of my favorite snacks. I've tested you, not on purpose. I broke your favorite vase a month ago. You cried. I felt bad, said sorry by giving you my paw, and you hugged me. Last week you had a meltdown, closed your bedroom door, paced back and forth, screamed and threw something and laid on the floor while doing breathing exercises. I don't need you to tell me what happened. I sense humans who lie or hurt you. This is why I don't compose myself near them. Your intuition may fail you at times, but you got mine. You defend me by saying how hard it must be. I have no voice. While yours gets lost trying to mask in this boring, cruel world. But regardless, you treat me with your heart. No language needed but our hearts. Mine opens my eyes each morning to make sure you are still here kicking, while yours makes sure I am cared for. Your eyes say you worry for me, have love for me, and mine know your eyes might be the only ones I will in my lifetime match with. If this world has taught me anything, is that for the right human, your soul full of flaws, steaming nerves, galaxy of loose ends, and such will always be something that can be loved that makes you, you. I have never been too much, too big, or such a burden for you. Now, if only I can make you understand you are worth finding someone who sees you the way I do, from the day you picked me up when that man left me at the park to this very morning today.
I would describe the way the roof felt. Magic carpet to skyline like only the stars could understand a teenager's plight. Where I'm from, children's problems are their own because adults kept their problems to themselves. My mother rested in winks beneath the sink light, cleaning what she would clean again tomorrow after working less hours than she would work tomorrow. I am from a woman who made bone-work hands heal wounds. My father is the type to take the hard route. I am told we have this in common, that I have his eyebrows and his diligence. He worked like tomorrows were taxed, so today must be hustled. I am from a man who knows only his way and the strength to get it done. I remember nights waiting for them to get home. I recall empty seats at concerts and games, but full bellies. I am from bargain bin Christmases wrapped in we're just happy to be together. I grew up in the fleeting moments between work shifts, in car rides to babysitters, momentary conversations as parents drifted back into the graveyard hours. Ours is a roof supported from paycheck to paycheck, built on a foundation of busted knuckles and tired feet, taught to brave file cabinet wilds and carnivorous CEO cosplayers roaring job threats. My parents conjured love from back-breaking labor, taught me that from dust we grow what we need, showed me fight is more than blood and bone. It is the heart in the face of a machine designed to break you. Where I'm from, like stone, we are etched by the battles won, but we are still fucking here. I am grown from wills denying the whitewashing of our neighborhoods by working triple overtime just to keep the lights on. I am from here, heart of Texas, hard work, dirty hands, sweaty brows, grown from the hopes of tomorrow and the seeds planted yesterday.
Come on.
I grew up with sand dunes and concrete on either side, surrounded by mountains that caress the sky, between the haves and the have-no-longers. My ancestors are fractured pieces of a clay calendar formed by the hands of a creator who forgot how to glue shit back together. The ground in El Paso doesn't call itself American. Its name, so ancient it could not be uttered in this foreign tongue, so I will simply call it mine. Mi tierra, my dirt, my hood, 5 minutes away from another country, and all the criminals I knew were from this one. Republicans will tell you the people crossing the border are taking more than they are bringing. It's giving projection. But my city has taught me that the greediest men are the ones on Capitol Hill, quick to call my dirt theirs, never having kept it beneath their fingernails. The news portrays people that look like me to be part of an unwelcome horde, say that there isn't enough to go around, so they preach America first in their church, close their doors to the needy, this Christian nation, under God. My, how miserable it's become. The Texas governor put razor blades in the river so that families could turn the Rio Grande revelation red. My people are still wading in the water, only to become a flood. My home has taught me to be proud that I and the progeny of immigrants and slaves, we built this shit just to watch them burn it down, but this ash is ours. I don't live in El Paso anymore, but every morning I'm reminded where I'm from. I look up at the sky. I'm from the city of the sun.
Because it says that anything goes round, I have borrowed a poem from Paul called Gerard Wilkinson Jr. and is titled, How I Accidentally Slept with My Girlfriend's Best Friend, But I Am Not Toxic, I Did It For Us.
Gotta wear it backwards. Yeah.
All right, now for starters, I know I was wrong. I could hand you a litany of lies, roll out reasons like a red carpet and hope the paparazzi camera flashes make you forget about the details. I mean, let's just skip the details. Shit, you want the details? Okay, so it happened, right? Somewhere in that space between where we were taking a break, or maybe not a break, maybe you were just out of town for work, and I was at home, rummaging through the takeout that should have been taken out weeks ago, and then she called you. Said something about how she left something at our house. You told her just to come get it, and maybe what she heard was, she can come get it, so maybe it's your fault. You knew she couldn't be trusted. Always told me she had a tendency to move a little weird when I was around, and now I was around. So when the doorbell rang, I thought that my gray sweatpants and wife beater were the perfect door answering attire, and in she came, asking me if I ate. Volunteered to fix something real quick if I was hungry, and I was, and she did. But spaghetti sauce tends to set if the stain isn't caught quick enough, so just like that, her pants were in the washing machine. And she was on the couch, and let's just get the details, right? Because it happened. Fuck, you want details. Okay, so she walked away with my plate, laughed at all my corny jokes, came back wearing less than she was before, handed me a drink and a kiss, tugged on my sweats. I started to stop, but she said, yo, we both grown. Now all of y'all know, we both grown is the call sign for trouble, but if I am being honest, and I'm probably not, I did it for you. I did it for us. Recognize that we could only grow through adversity, and she was only going to be in our way. I recognize that we had said that our love could stand anything, and I refuse to let either one of us be a liar. I recognize that we both made mistakes here. I mean, you said last year that you were quitting that job because you traveled too much, and I'll admit, I may have been as wrong as two left shoes, but then again, if there is a silver lining that can make it all okay, I told you she was trifling.
Come on, bro.
From the day she tried to steal your purse until this day, she tried to break up your happy home, so yeah, you could walk away, end it all, or hear me out. We could pretend that none of this happened and I can find you a new best friend. Groupies.
Last night, I started to reach out. I started to tell you it's been too long since you wrote your name on my back in blood, good timers. I started to say, I want to watch the colors fade from your cheeks as I fill your waistline with fireworks. We are only human until we explode. Well, I'm going to say it now. You should come out. Allow me to free you from the leftover gospel in your last name. You know who you belong to. I squeeze your neck and you squeeze the sheets, your lifeline to this reality. I miss the way your mouth will betray your voice. How the weight of my name would make it too hard for you to call on God. It's a gift. It's a gift, this pressure I can put on that gold box after you erupt. I insist you cover me in a lover's lava. Don't act like you don't miss it as much as I do. I can hear the glass in your voice. Why not come over and shatter us both? I'm happy to be in a million pieces if it means we get to share the shards. I promise you. I promise you I'm going to pull your hair this time. It might be the only way to keep you from melting. As I travel to your deepest depths and you freeze and stiffen up like you always do, if you let me, I'm gonna bite you hard enough to crack your collarbone. Because I know how much you love it. Because I know it's just a matter of time before I origami your body and turn a paper swan into a proper princess, just like last time. Just like last time when our lips caught fire and we dragged the moon to your balcony. Just like last time. Just like when we were in space. I can't imagine another moment where we wouldn't be together, while we have this time on this stage with you and me. We were just like astronauts exploring the limits of anatomy, baby. I come to you for a piece I can't find anywhere else, but it's okay. I'll wait until you remember my fingers feel like sunlight and my tongue could find the center of your suffering. I'll wait until the colors fade from your mornings and you can no longer sleep at night. I know we're not the only one going through this, baby. We are bonded in the here and after, so it only makes sense for us to lose sight of what really matters, especially when the music and the candles switch places and the lo-fi keeps us warm while the wax sounds so good. I'm gonna keep the top lock on for you. Don't even call. Don't even call first. When you're ready, just come.
A cop invades the rearview mirror. Okay, just breathe.
We've been here before.
My hands are visible.
My cigarette is out.
My hoodie is back. Don't sweat. Take a deep breath. As red lights seep into the car,
I'm flashback to a cold steel slab bolted to concrete despite
bodies pass in and out, and I can't stop wondering how punishable my offense is today. I'm recalling all the people whose names I didn't think I'd remember. I'm thinking of all the things I can do to become less threatening. How to
chameleon my skin into a shade less suspect.
Wondering what Hugh would say I am human too.
What color would translate my anxiety into anything other than aggression?
Will the stiffness in my joints be interpreted as resistance?
Will you feel threatened when my eloquence stumbles out of the car?
I'm policing my tone into politeness. Yes, officer. No, officer. Folks say that if I've done nothing wrong, I have nothing to worry about. But history tells me different. YouTube is a graveyard of innocent people who had nothing to worry about.
And I laugh a little at the irony.
At the terror of knowing that if this doesn't end well,
I could end up beat,
broke, or dead. I'm hoping that the only bullets are the ones that I'm sweating. My heart is combat with stomping my chest. My nerves are attempting to astral project me to safety, and I can't tell what's worse.
Picturing my teeth seated into the pavement,
or imagining this pig is actually dumb enough to start my riot in this moment. My death is almost comforting. To know this city would drown in the tears and gas that beckons them in glitter bombs and Molotov cocktail parties. But the thought of my mother's missed phone calls deactivates my activist martyr fantasy. Picture a stack of bills thick enough to stop bullets, a criminal history that's Kevlar, my future, the only victim left unprotected, my past, a weapon of the state wielded by the descendants of the slave patrol that started it all.
Anxiety is a cop headed this way.
A suspended license, an impounded car, work, no more sick days. Who's gonna watch my kids? Who's gonna put them to bed? Shit, here he comes.
License.
Registration.
Wait.
No sudden moves.